there, it's Dr. Nadia here, and I wanted to just pop in and do a quick training on the 4 quadrants. You probably heard me talk about the 4 quadrants in a couple of our videos, and I definitely wanted to take some time to just go through that in a little more detail. So I have named this the 4 quadrants because that was the easiest way I could explain it. A colleague shared this at an event where I spoke. And recently I had a one-on-one conversation with one of my clients, and the conversation, she just had a lot of questions around, what do I do? I have one expert that says to do this, and another expert says to do the exact opposite. Which one is right? And so I asked her, so how is it with the way you're doing it working out for you? So I get it. Been there, done that. I've been all over the map in terms of how I build my business, what types of products I need to offer, what type of services, like all over the place. And so I finally just had to say, stop, hold the press. What do I want in terms of what are my revenue goals? What works best for me? So then I can build a business around that. How awesome is that? So I created the 4 quadrants. Well, I renamed it I don't know. It might be the real name. Don't know. Like I said, I saw this training. I wanted to share it. I think it's really good to share and just walk you through some of my insight and feedback on these different quadrants in terms of and how it relates to how you're building your business, because it makes all the difference. So full disclosure, there is no right or wrong way as far as I'm concerned. You can pick one quadrant. You can pick all 4 quadrants. It's totally up to you. And you may say, for this year, this quarter, this is the strategy I want to use when I get to a certain revenue point. A lot of times when I'm working with clients around creating their revenue growth plan, that's exactly what we'll do. Leverage this strategy till you get here. And we'll just say $250,000 annual revenue, right? Then switch to this. Or when you get to X amount of clients in a certain program. So there are different ways that you can leverage this, but definitely sometimes we get caught in the cycle of chasing our tails, spinning our wheels, and it leads to a lot of frustration on our parts and not enough money in our bank accounts as far as our businesses are concerned. All right, so let me share my screen. So as you can see, this is a very basic, I just drew this on a sheet of paper. I wrote it in pen. I was like, probably need to tighten it up a little bit, Nadia. So actually, where do I want to start? We'll just start with quadrant 1. So here in quadrant number 1, you can see that high people. So that means that we want a lot of people in this program. When I say a lot, I'm thinking over 50, 100, hundreds, thousands of people. So any of your programs where you're like, a lot of times our membership programs are designed to bring in a lot of people. Low dollar. When I say low dollar, I'm thinking less than $200, 200 or less. So if you have a large number of people and a low dollar amount, that is the strategy for quadrant 1. Now, think about your numbers and your revenue goal. Based on where you are today in your business, how many, and let's just say $25. I don't know how much your membership would be, but let's pick $25. If you had X amount of people to come through your program at $25 per month, how many people do you need to get in our program to hit your revenue goals? So we'll pick 100,000 because that seems to be a very common number in the industry, divided by 25. You will need 4,000 people. No problem. It's totally doable. Of course, you could change the number. So that's $25. What if we had a $200 program? Let's do 197 because we love stuff that ends in 7. 197. That would be 508 people. Big range. So again, looking at your revenue goals, looking at your current strategy, looking at your current revenue, taking all of that into account, what makes sense in terms of, is this the best place to spend my time and our marketing dollars to grow my business at this point? Now, like I said, it could totally be a second revenue stream. So you're like, Dr. Nadia, got it, cool, no problem. I'm going to leverage this as a different revenue stream because I'm going to have multiple no problem. But I just want you to pay attention, because sometimes we think it's easier to sell something that's a low dollar. Sometimes we do it just because somebody told us that we had to do it. Doesn't matter. I did this training with the group recently, and one of the attendees was like, I don't even want to, like, that's not even on my radar. That's not even how I want to build my business, based on her clientele, based on her target market, based on the vision for her business. She's been in business for a while. So all of that, you take that into consideration. But just because someone said you had to do it doesn't mean you have to do it now, and doesn't mean you have to do it at all, quite frankly. All right. So quadrant 3, I still haven't quite figured out why you would leverage quadrant 3. You have a low number of people and low dollar. Now, the first time I tried to launch a membership program at a low dollar, it was actually $147 a month for 6 months. It was 3 years ago, and I had 2 paying people in that program. 2. Low dollar, low people. That was not helping me get to my revenue goal. Now, I'm not upset. It helped me to create a product. I still have that content that I can leverage. I could put it in some sort of automated system, but it definitely helped me to see that the timing for that particular program was all wrong, or maybe the program wasn't right. Like, something was off in terms of my marketing or whatever. But quite frankly, based on where I was at that point in my business, that probably, okay, I won't say probably, because this is, you know, historical. I have facts and data to back it up. That wasn't the best idea. Well, it seemed like a good idea at the time, but it wasn't the best idea. So again, these things happen. Sometimes you launch something, you're hoping to get a lot of people. So you're hoping to be at quadrant 1. You end up at quadrant 3. What I will say is go ahead, go through the process, and then you can always take that recorded content, repurpose it, and shoot to move to quadrant 1, which would then be the high number of people and lower dollar. And since it's not live, you might even lower the price point. You can always play around with price points that way. Right now, a lot of times if I do something in this quadrant, it's because I want to. It's something fun. I feel like it. I want to. I have the space in terms of time and revenue to where my business is not going to go under if this doesn't hit a certain number. So again, all about strategy. What makes the most sense for you? Now let's flip over to the right-hand side. Quadrant 2. Quadrant 2 is high number of people. So think 100, 150, 400, 500, 4,000, and high dollar. So a lot of times you may see this in your higher end mastermind with some of the coaches in the industry, where people will pay, they'll invest 18, 20, 25,000 or more, but it's not a small intimate group. So with that, you may have 50, 60, 100. Again, high number of people is completely dependent on your perspective, what makes sense, but again, totally can change your revenue. So let's just say that you had 100 people, keep my numbers easy here today, times $20,000. So people paid $20,000 per year to be a part of this. That's $2 million. Not a bad payday. Again, what is the strategy? Are you in a position at this point to shoot for that? Is that something you even want? Do you want to work with over 100 people at one time? Think about it. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Some of us love it, some of us don't. So again, thinking about that strategy, what makes sense? And then what are the things that you need to do in order to drive those numbers and to find people at that price point? So that type of client that doesn't mind paying a high dollar and being part of a big group. Because there are some people that don't want to be a part of a big group. They're willing to pay high dollar, but they want it to be small and intimate, which leads us to this. So again, low number of people, high dollar. So 20, 25, 50, 86,000, 100,000, whatever that number is, smaller number. So it may be a private client, it may be a done for you solution, or it may be a small intimate group. I'm thinking 10, 12, or small group of people, high dollar amount. Again, what makes sense for how you're growing your business? Because the strategy that you use here may not be the same strategy that you would use in quadrant 1. See? And so sometimes we're trying to leverage marketing strategies, sales strategies, business building strategies based on the wrong quadrant. I typically have my clients start somewhere over here, either doing a higher dollar, and it may not be 25,000, but it may be, let's do a group program where you work with people, and maybe it's 5,000, right? So we could totally look at that, but it's a smaller number of people, so you're not trying to get 4,000 people to start your program all at one time. Maybe you're just trying to get 3 or 4. Again, based on your revenue goals. So that could be a goal that you set for a quarter. Once you're rocking things out at quadrant 4, you could easily, should you choose to, leverage and launch something else in a different quadrant. Sometimes it's a little overwhelming for some of us to try to do all of these things all at one time. Some of us try and realize, I don't even want to roll like that. I don't even want to do that. So again, thinking through the quadrants, what makes the most sense for you, your business, your ideal clients. Remember, a lot of times I leverage the Walmart and Nordstrom example. People that shop at Walmart, people that shop at Nordstrom, completely different experiences. Nothing wrong with it. Both of them are very successful businesses. Their loyal clients and their target market love them, and they play in completely different quadrants. So again, thinking about your strategy, thinking about your target market, thinking about your revenue goal, what makes sense, and which quadrant should you operate in terms of growing your business so that you can stabilize your revenue, and then it'll give you the time and the money spaciousness in order to possibly leverage one of the other strategies or launch something in one of the other quadrants should you choose to, or you may just take all that newfound money and time and go to the beach. You just never know. So again, wanted to pop in and just talk about that, cover it. And I've been mentioning the 4 quadrants, and people are like, what the heck? What are the 4 quadrants, Dr. Nadia? These are the 4 quadrants. And it's a great strategy. If someone knows where the heck these quadrants come from, please let me know. Again, I didn't create this. I take no credit for it. It was something that I loved and I wanted to share it. But I also wanted you to just think through how you could leverage these and how might you be getting tripped up in your business because you're leveraging a quadrant 1 strategy when you're trying to grow quadrant 4 business or vice versa. All right, this is Dr. Nadia signing off. Happy dialing.